Instead of a no-deal Brexit, it looks increasingly likely now that a deal between the UK and the EU could be done. In fact, there are some reports that that deal could be done within days, could be done this week. And from the details we're now hearing, there's been movement on the UK side on the so-called EU level playing field. And I don't like what I'm hearing on this at all. Now, before I get into this, I will start off by saying, unlike some mainstream media outlets, I am prepared to give the British government the benefit of the doubt. We shouldn't just swallow EU briefings as if they're somehow gospel. So I will say that. But I think it's important, particularly given the time constraints and the repeated extensions, that we scrutinise what is likely to be agreed, given that it's going to be 600 pages plus, given, of course, the transition period finishing at the end of this month. So I'm going to bring all the very latest, guys, in this video. But please start off by hitting the subscribe button and the bell. And please give this video a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate that as well. Now, before I get into the details of the suggested reported movement, and as I said, I don't like what I'm hearing on that. The Telegraph report, Michel Barnier has told EU ambassadors a Brexit deal can be reached this week if the two sides find a compromise on fisheries. The EU's chief negotiator said that the UK had moved on the level playing field negotiations after a more upbeat briefing than usual. Ambassadors peppered Barnier with questions about the possible deal. No one asked anything about no deal, and that was informed by the tone of Barnier's briefing. A diplomatic source said he was a lot less gloomy than I was expecting. If both sides come out of the trenches on fisheries, Barnier said there could be a deal this week. As the Times report as well, movement on the so-called level playing field. In a briefing this morning, the EU's chief negotiator hailed progress, well, I guess that's one way of putting it, on the level playing field competition rules and enforcement, with talks focused on the practical detail on how such mechanisms can be implemented. The main sticking point is on EU demands for fisheries, and this is unbelievable. For fisheries to be linked to trade if European quotas are cut over time, or allowing tariffs to be imposed on industrial goods in the event of a fisheries dispute. Are the British government really going to sign up to that? According to an official present, quoted in this story, Barnier said that the UK has come closer on the level playing field now. We need to build the architecture. The UK is rejecting the trade link to fishing and has asked for the EU to move as a trade-off for the British movement on the level playing field. And interestingly enough, in the Times report, they say if the EU wants to ensure that as laws evolve, this is the crux of the level playing field, trying to cut off competitive advantage. The EU wants to ensure that as laws evolve and potentially become more stringent, the UK keeps up. If not, the EU fears British firms could become more competitive and put European rivals out of business. What? British business becoming more competitive outside of the EU? Gaining Brexit competitive advantage is at the absolute heart of what we need to be doing, and seemingly is something the EU are trying to cut off via this deal. I do not like the sounds I'm hearing on so-called movement on the level playing field. But here really is a very, very, very worrying report. Tony Connolly of RTE, who's been pretty spot on with a lot of the things he said. This is what he's reporting. Michel Barnier has told EU member states that there has been some movement on the level playing field and on dispute resolution, but that fisheries talks remain very difficult. RTE News understands. Sources say this could go through this week and beyond. According to one senior source, Barnier said there was acceptance that the EU could take retaliatory measures against the UK if it diverged from EU standards, but it would not be autonomous. Oh, that's very big of them, isn't it? In other words, before taking action, there would need to be some dialogue with the UK. We are blessed. It's the operationalisation, that's a mouthful, of that principle that is now under discussion, according to source. The EU sees this as progress, as for a long time the UK refused to accept that if they diverged, the EU had the right to do something, according to the source. That principle has now been accepted, but how it is implemented is the nub of the discussion. So this is the crux of the matter. From the EU perspective, the concern is the UK might change its rules to make it more competitive, says the source. Barnier seemed positive that the principle of countermeasures has been agreed. Let me just lay out where this would leave us. Let's just consider this. The British government, if they signed up to a deal like this, after we exit the transition period, could have a policy that they wanted to put into place to make British business more competitive, to gain Brexit competitive advantage. And rather than just being able to do that and go ahead with it, we could end up in a position where the EU could be saying that they're going to take measures against us. There'll be an internal debate in the UK about what measures these could be, whether it can be done, to what extent it can be done, what we're allowed to do according to the deal, what we're not allowed to do according to the deal, what the EU might do, what that action might look like. This would be absolutely ridiculous, would it not? Having taken back control by leaving the EU, to then hand back that power outside of the EU via this deal. And the position I think it would leave this country in is that for years to come, rather than having a clean break from the European Union, there would be constant conflict, constant threats. If you do that, this is going to happen. If you do this, if you put this policy into place, we're going to do this in retaliation. Is that really the road that we want to be going down? Just remember, with no deal, there's no EU rulebook. There's no restrictions. There's only a British government free to do as it sees fit. Signing up to a level playing field with so-called retaliatory measures from the EU strikes me as a very big mistake. Let me know what you make of all of that. And I'll say this as well. We say this as well. Lord Frost all the way through, along with Boris Johnson, have said the right things. So maybe this is being over-egged by the EU. Maybe this isn't accurate. I'm not swallowing what they're saying 100%. All I'm saying is there are consistent reports now that the UK side has moved on the so-called level playing field. Now, what's Nigel Farage making of this? He said yesterday, no deal is the only way Johnson can now keep his election promises. I don't believe he will do it. This is all a charade. Let me know if you agree with that, guys. But one thing I want to mention is I did put a poll up, and thanks to those of you that answered the poll yesterday, I asked you guys, do you think Boris Johnson, not do you want or not, do you think he will deliver a no deal? And I think YouTube might be having a bit of a laugh here, because I've checked the numbers and it's this is a percentage. 3,400 votes in total at time of recording. But the percentage is 52% who answered the poll think Boris will deliver no deal, and 48% don't think Boris will deliver no deal. And that 52-48 has been up like that as percentage since last night, despite more votes. So I'm not sure quite what's going on there. Maybe it's an omen, but let's see. But as I said, guys, we've got to keep our eyes on the reports of what's going on here. It seems consistent reports that there's been UK so-called movement on the level playing field. And as I said, this option to give the EU the chance to retaliate and effectively punish us for daring to seize competitive advantage in the years to come is not the road to go down. No deal, of course, always better than a bad deal. Will Boris Johnson walk away or not? Let me know what you're making of all this. Let me know if you still have faith in Boris to deliver or not. And of course, guys, if you've enjoyed this report, please give it a big thumbs up. That would really help me out. And of course, you can support my work by becoming a supporter. You get the supporters members badge next to your name. Hit the join button down below. See the link in the top pinned comment. Really appreciate that, guys. And of course, as ever, thank you so much for watching.